last thing, again, now that you mentioned this, the playoffs, and I'm curious where you guys, your head's at. I was a part of the playoff when it started, and it was 10 cars. It's now 16. That is probably 16 out of 28 contenders. Is 16 too many?
Yeah, I think so. And, I mean, this is coming from the guy that just got in the 16th
Why?
car. It's I don't know. I feel like it's half the field. You know, I like the Xfinity Series. What the numbers there is 12. You see good cars miss it. Like, I feel like in trucks, you see good trucks miss it. You know, I think it should be now. I like 10. I mean, you'd have to lay out the format differently because you can't, you know, the numbers don't work out the same. But, I mean, I like make it hard. It's the playoffs. It's not supposed to be easy to get in. Like, you know, it is what it is. But, like, I like the number 10. That was a nice round number for me, and you should see good cars miss it.
I think it's close. I do think it's a little bit too many. I do think, I don't know. I think maybe 12, maybe somewhere in that area. I mean, it should be real, like Freddie said, it should be really hard to get in.
I tell you what I like. If it's going to be 16, and listen, I understand the importance of it. If you're not in the playoffs, it's almost like you become irrelevant for 10 weeks. You have to work really hard to run up front. Otherwise, the TV broadcast partners don't cover you, right? But I feel like if it's going to be 16, week 1, let's go ahead and get rid of 1. Week 2, let's go ahead and get rid of 1. Week 3, let's get rid of 2.
I'm gonna ask you this question. So I disagree with all of y'all. I think it should only be winners. The Giants can't make it to the Super Bowl by losing by 1 point, but they pointed their way in. That's my opinion, and I've been very vocal about that. I think you should win to be in the playoffs, to be able to go for a championship. A.J. Allmendinger had a 6.6 average finish in Xfinity last year and didn't make it to the Final Four because you needed to win. Those guys done a better job leading up to the Final Four. We didn't deserve to be in there. Somebody asked me, you know, we had a shot to make it to the playoffs this year. We didn't deserve to be in the playoffs. It never bothered me one bit because I would rather finish 17th in points than finish last in the playoffs. That would wear me. I don't like making the second round of qualifying and qualifying 10th.
Yeah.
It bothers me worse than qualifying 11th. So I think you should win. What do we have this year? 14 winners?
14.
14 winners. So it should be
maybe
14.
13.
13.
Okay, so it should be 13 cars, right? Yeah, I agree that we race all year. Well, let's have 2 different points. Okay, so the guys that didn't win, now we're racing for that championship also. We're racing for the winners of the whole thing, and now we got 2 different championships going on when we get to Phoenix. And man, what you talking about some drama? Because what happens is now TV doesn't have enough time to talk about all 36 or 40 cars. They have to talk about the playoff guys, right? Like, so you'll probably never see Justin Haley again. You won't even know he's racing the last whatever races, right? Like, and that's tough on TV, and that's tough on everybody because you got to get all those guys in. The 6 car, if he's having a bad day, you're going to spend 25 laps talking about it. If he's having a good day, they're going to talk about Bubba, right? Because he's got to overperform now to make the next round. So I would say just winners. So if that ends up being 12, that ends up being 12. Guarantee you'll have a lot more wrecks for the win if it's only winners.
But doesn't that provide less of an advantage, like to Brett's point, where sponsors may have an issue and be less likely to support a lower budget team because they likely won't win?
Well, I don't think it's a low-budget team in Cup racing right now. I think they're all having to spend a lot of money to be able to go race.
In comparison,
they're going to go like so Phoenix, if a 23 car didn't have a sponsor, they could sign one today because they have a shot. Right. They have a shot to make it to Phoenix. Yeah, so that is a good point, and that's on us though. That's on the race teams to go and get into playoffs. So I mean, I don't blame the 16 guys that are in it or TV or anybody. That's on us. We got to go get in it. We need to go win.
To your point, you're not a championship caliber team if you're not winning.
100%. Like the Kansas City Chiefs couldn't win a Super Bowl last year if they didn't win. Like they couldn't make it to the Super Bowl. Like, you know, and it is a great system. And you think back when Jimmy Johnson won so many, Dale Earnhardt won so many. That was a great system too. Then we changed into something else. Is it time, or should we look at something to where it's only winners or something like that? You know, and it's a great debate, right? It's just a debate. I'm not making that decision. I'm sitting back. I love watching the playoffs. I think they got some great cars in it. I think you're going to see some teams bring out some heavy hitting stuff when we get to Darlington this coming up week. I mean, I think you'll definitely see Kyle Larson really, really fast. I think those guys will pull their belts tight, and yeah, they won't bring what they say their playoff cars anymore.
So the 3 drivers that haven't won: Bubba Wallace, Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski. Right? We're agreeing right now, at least you and I are agreeing, Chris Rice and I, that those 3 aren't going to make a championship round.
If you look at it by stats, they shouldn't. I mean, by stats. I mean, Kevin Harvick probably has your best opportunity, right? But you even watch his interview after the race. He wasn't happy because they asked him how he's going to do. He's not answering that, right? Like, I think he would say the same thing if you asked him right now, should you be in the playoffs? He'd probably say no. I don't know. I don't know what he would say, but he wants to win. That dude's a winner. Like, he's going out his last year, and he wants to win. So he needs to figure out how to win, and I'll guarantee he does for the end of the year because that's just the way Kevin Harvick is.